Alright, hello everybody. Hello. Welcome to Weekly Message from Spirit. Monday again, and so we get to connect and play with Spirit. I'm just switching off my phone. Yeah, and getting us all settled. So welcome to tonight, to this moment, to this space now. So we get to explore and see what it is that Spirit would like to tell us tonight. There's certainly a shift in energy. There's a definite calling to be more present and to be more focused. To align all your energies with what it is that you're supposed to be doing at this point in time and get focused. Get going, yeah. So you ain't been waiting all week for this. Oh, that's a lovely one. All right, so you'll start tonight with the crystal that's come forward for tonight, and then we'll do the weekly message for everybody, and then I'll do some one-on-one readings and see what it is that comes forward tonight. So the crystal that came forward tonight as I was getting ready and I was sitting contemplating tonight's reading is a crystal that I'm sure many of you have and many of you love, and that's good old amethyst. Look at the sphere, look at it. Isn't it just exquisite? Look at the patterns and the holograms in there. So amethyst is a well-known crystal for spiritual alchemy. It's about connection to the highest divine light. This is just one of my absolute favorite pieces, along with this, who is my personal friend. I am lucky enough to be one of the guardians of this crystal, along with two other people that are often on this, so they will get to see their friend too. We're very lucky to have connected with this crystal and got it from Tim Wilde. Those of you that don't know him, he's in the UK and does a lot of ascension work with 5D consciousness. So as amethyst came forward, there's a lot around expansion and ascension, and so a lot about connection to your own divinity, connection to your own spirit, really, really restoring your own sense of transmission, I think is the word they're wanting to use. Is how well connected are you to receiving the messages of truth that come from the divine for you? And there's a lot of interference in that. There's a lot of interference because of our vibration. There's a lot of interference because of our mind and because of our emotions and all these sorts of things. But truly, truly connecting to our intuition and to our spirit. We've been just launched the second set of crystal masterclasses, and it's just so amazing to see what these crystals have to tell us at the moment. And amethyst message at this point in time, the message that comes forward very, very, very strongly from amethyst is faith. Have faith. What is it that you're needing to truly, truly believe in? And faith is not an externalization. It's not faith in something outside of you. It's faith in yourself, faith in your abilities, faith in your heart, faith in your spirit, and faith in what it is that you've been called to do. Right, so we'll clearly be working with, I wish I had a little thing and he could sit here with me and talk to you. Sorry, my dog is in the room and wants to go out. So just give me 1 second to let him out. All right, out you go. Come on. I'm busy now. Thank you. All right, apologies for that. Animal Kingdom have their own agenda. All right, let's put this all back together and then we get it going. Okay, so with that, with these beautiful amethysts that are supporting us tonight, let us see what the weekly message is. So, as always, we'll be pulling 3 cards. The message that is available universally for whoever finds this message tonight, tomorrow, during this week, or actually at any point in time. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, these videos are posted there every Tuesday, and you can actually go back and look through the whole library of of messages, which is also quite a wonderful thing, because when you hear the message is when you're supposed to hear the message. So for this week, we'll be connecting in and seeing what do we need to pay attention to. So where do we need to wake up? These wake up, shake ups, so we come out of the asleepness that we have. And then what support is available for us this week, and what opportunities exist for us this week. If you feel called to, please share this video out with your friends or any groups and so on and so forth, because that really just gets the message to more and more people, and that's the point of it, is it not? Yes, it does look like an angel, does it not? Somebody says looks like there's an angel in the round crystal and the sphere. There's if you can get the sphere right, it looks like a heart. There looks like angel wings. It's just truly one of the most, I don't have great light here, but you can see all sorts of beautiful shapes in it. All right, enough playing with crystals. Enough playing with crystals. Let's do the message from Spirit. All right, hello crystals. Okay, so let us see what they want to tell us tonight. So where do we need to pay attention? Where do we need to wake up? And the card that comes forward for that is be brave. Be brave. Now, isn't it just an exquisite card? The things that are important to look at here is firstly is from the suit of cards that it's all about take a step, make a plan. It's time to do something different. And this came through last week as well in terms of it's time for action. And I started off tonight saying it's time for focus. It's time to get clear. It's time to do something. So this is all about taking action so that you can expand. It's one thing to live in intention. It's one thing to live in the idea of possibility, to sit and think about what it is that you're wanting to do, but to take action, to actually take the step requires this bravery. Now, if we look at this card, we see this woman standing here, and she's standing ready to take a step, and it's kind of either sunrise or sunset. So what's really important here is about the not running in and going to war. This is not what bravery is. Bravery is not going in for the fight and attacking and doing all these things. Bravery is scanning what's going on and then taking a purposeful step, doing something. And there is this idea of taking a step towards your goals. So a way you can think about this, and the thing they're talking about tonight, is what's something you've been talking about for a very long time that you're not doing anything about? Maybe it's your finances, maybe it's your weight, maybe it's your job, maybe it's your relationship, maybe it's the one day, someday stories, the things that you wish you could do or wish you would want to do. And bravery is a very interesting thing, because when we look at bravery, it's the courage to do something new. And so what's something new that you can do? And this really does follow from last week's message. So they're reinforcing this message of the need for brave action. Yeah? And it can be tiny. It can be tiny, tiny, tiny. It does not have to be a monumental big step. The tiniest thing you could do could be to have one less cup of coffee, or to drink one more glass of water, or meditate for 5 minutes in the car before you get out at work, or whatever it is. A tiny little step that requires a willingness to participate in something new. The other thing that's coming forward very, very much when they're talking about this Be Brave card is listening to things you would not normally listen to and seeing things you would not normally see. What they mean by this is that sometimes other people have different opinions, different perspectives. Sometimes messages are being given to you through alternative views of thinking about things. And when you shut down something that's an alternative view to yours, you may miss out on the opportunity for some kind of perspective shift, some kind of expansion. So there's also bravery in being quiet, bravery in listening to other people. So something that they're showing is like, who's somebody you keep shutting down? Who's somebody you're not listening to? Also with this comes, what is feedback you're getting? The feedback where maybe something's not working out the way you want to. What is the feedback? It takes tremendous courage to sit back and say, okay, what's the feedback here, and what do I need to be paying attention to? How do I honor that it takes a lot of courage for somebody to give me feedback or for me to see the feedback? What is it that I need to be paying attention to here? And so this bravery is expanding many things. The bravery to act, the bravery to listen, the bravery to take accountability and listen to feedback that may be given to you. And all of these require a very, very compassionate, open heart. Because if you're critical of yourself, if you're critical of anybody else and get defensive and shut it down, well, then you may not be able to move forward at all in any way, shape, or form. We need to understand, and there's a beautiful healer, Heike Sim, who often is on Facebook as well, and she talks about the same principle, is that anything that's going on in your life, you've either created, colluding with, or feeding in some way, shape, or form. It's not happening to you. You're not a victim. And really allowing yourself to step out of that idea that life or events or things are happening to you, and really noticing that either you're creating it, feeding it, colluding with it, and or needing it. And when you participate in life in that way, you can start to see what the opportunity is in there. So then, if we pay attention to the calls for our brave, and we start to notice where the opportunity is for us to listen more, or receive the feedback, or take action, or do any one of those things, then the support that is available for us this week is embrace the messiness of life. Now, it's going to sound a little bit counterintuitive. If I'm brave and I do something different, or if I listen to something, well then, the odds are pretty good that things are going to get disrupted. And when disruption happens, it's not quite all very, very nice and neat and all contained. It gets messy. If I'm hearing feedback of something I'm doing in a relationship and I can listen to that, at this point where I hear it and I start to maybe do something different, at that point in time, it's new and it's uncomfortable and it's difficult and it's very, very messy. To create change, to create opportunity for things to move or change in your life, change has this absolute place of disorientation, place of disruption, place of disconnect, and really noticing how things need to fall apart or break so that they can be put back together allows us to then move through that point. The more we try and hold things in place and keep them the way we think they should be and make it work our way, the less opportunity there is for transformation and growth. So this opportunity to be brave, to do something different, and then let things get a little bit out of control. And the more you can be comfortable in the chaos, open to learning through the discomfort, the messy place of life. They haven't used this metaphor for a very long time, but they're using it now. And it's, if I'm wanting to create something in the world, a book or an idea, or even just a meme or a meal, whatever it is, we have to give birth to it. And if we think of the idea of giving birth, there's the whole sort of process of falling pregnant, and then there's this process of it, the baby settling in and growing and taking that normally 9 months to get to a point of readiness to come into the world. And then there's birthing. And birthing is messy. It's not always a calm, gentle exercise. There's a pain and there's messiness and there's a difficulty, and that in itself is the transition place between the womb and life. And so when we give birth to ideas, when we give birth to something new in our life, we have to be comfortable with that transition place, that place of birth, that place of messiness. And so the card that then comes forward in terms of what opportunity exists this week is acceptance will set you free. Acceptance will set you free. And you'll see that this comes from the same suit as Embrace the Messiness of Life, which is all about this growth place, this place of allowance, of of accepting life on life's terms, and learning to embrace life the way it shows up. Now, and a place of non-resistance. So if we have a look at this opportunity that says, okay, acceptance will set you free, it's as you brave and as things get messy, do not resist the message. Do not resist. Embrace. Accept. Tasha Silver is a beautiful author, and she's got some great books on divine surrender. And she's got a beautiful poem. Most of you, if you've been around my page for long enough, you will know it because I post it often and I will connect it in again. And it says, to the divine, let that which needs to go, go, and let that which needs to come, come. Let that which needs to end, end. Let that which needs to begin, begin. And it's this allowance. It's allowing the ebbs and flows of life to let that which needs to disappear. Now, what are you holding on to that may no longer serve, that may need to move away? And what is it that needs to come into your life that you may be blocking yourself from receiving? Yeah? And so acceptance is this state of allowance, a state of non-resistance. Resistance is pushing things away. Yeah? Acceptance is allowing it to come close to you. Often when I talk about acceptance and when I teach about acceptance, which is probably one of the hardest things for us to allow in our lives, is to accept. Acceptance is not about only accepting the things we like or the things that we want or the things we understand. Acceptance, or the heart of acceptance, happens when there's things that I don't like, or there's things I don't understand, or there's something I don't want. That's when acceptance is probably the most necessary. And if we have a look at the world of humor, if we look at comedy, you know, in comedy, there's a thing called improv comedy, which is where people all show up and they don't actually know, there's no plan to what they're going to do. And the one rule in improv is do not resist what others bring in. So they have a yes and principle. Whatever somebody does, you say yes and you add to it. And that's what makes it improv, is it flows. Because I'll take it and I'll add to it. Yes, and. We tend to live in a world where we think our power is in the no but. No, but it shouldn't be this way. No, but I don't want it. No, but I don't like it. No, but it's wrong. If you can take anything that you say no but to and shift it to yes and, that's a state of acceptance. No, but I don't want there to be traffic. Well, yes, and there's traffic, so now what you're going to do? No, but it's not fair. Yes, and it's still happening. You know? So the yes and principle is the opportunity this week, allowing yourself to truly step into this a process of flowing with life rather than resisting and rejecting things that come. Right, so it's a big week by the sounds of things. Big week by the sounds of things. I just want to make sure my phone's off. It keeps doing interesting things. So just see what's going on here. All right, there, it's off properly now. Cool. Okay, so now we're going to get to do some live readings. How cool is that? So it does sound like a big week, so I hope that you're all ready and willing to be supported and loved and cared for in the way that you need to. So for those of you that are new here, the way that it works is that I get drawn intuitively to do readings for people, and the people I'm drawn to are people that are going to get messages that support the greatest good of everybody. So if you don't get chosen, it doesn't mean you're not loved. It doesn't mean you're not wanted. It means that there probably is a message that has come forward through somebody else's reading. So pay attention to other people's readings as well, because that's the way it works, is to give as many messages as possible. Right, so let us see. Zenny, hello. been a bit of a rough patch. Oh, welcome to Earth at this point in time, I think. Anything from Spirit today, please. All right, Zeni, let's see what your guides have to tell you tonight. Okay. All right, Zeni, the message that's coming forward for you is step out of the shadows. Step out of the shadows. Okay, so when your guides come forward, they like your female guide is the one that's coming forward, and she steps forward with a. I'm not sure if this is something you will remember or know anything about. It's a jack in the box. So there's a box and it looks like a gift. But when you open the gift, there's like this like figure that jumps out and goes, surprise, and gives you a fright. And as children, we used to open these jack in the boxes and this thing would jump out and you'd get a big surprise. And the interesting bit is the more you played with it, the more you knew it was going to be jumping out of it. But still, somehow, it's a surprise. And if you hadn't, if you knocked it over, suddenly this thing jumped out. And so this jack in the box kind of thing that she's holding. It really looks quite beautiful. It's in this really, really beautiful box. So it looks like a gift, but the surprise is the difficult part because it takes you by surprise. Now, she says you can go and listen to the overall reading tonight because the sort of embrace and messiness and acceptance will set you free are core components of what you're needing to hear. However, what's also really important is that is trying to settle yourself down when you get a surprise. There's many of us who don't like surprises. We don't like things to surprise us. And this is a form of control. It's a form of trying to be able to be in control of everything that is going on. But more importantly, when a surprise happens like this, there's a question of, is it a trick or is it funny? And if somebody hides behind a door and gives you a fright and you get that kind of surprise and everybody laughs at you, these things are not always fun. Firstly, it amplifies the adrenaline that goes on in your body. And secondly, it shakes things up. Now, the shaking things up is valuable for you. The fact that your world has got a little bit shaken up by the surprises that have come up for you, this is useful in a way. What is not useful is the fact that it's caused you so much adrenaline, and so you're responding to it from a place of heightened anxiety. And so what's really important is to when surprises happen, is to calm down and to respond rather than react. The reaction is going to be the place of instinct, and the response is going to be the place of intuition. And so there's this need, she's saying, for you to take a step back and to embrace the surprises that have happened, but to breathe into it and then choose your responses. Now, this means that you won't be reacting to it. It means that you'll step out and you'll say, okay, I can handle this. What is going on? What do I want to do? But at this point, there's quite a heightened sense of reaction happening for you. I hope that makes sense for you, my darling. Right, let us see who is next. Yeah, you're right. Life is full of surprises. Marlene. All right, Marlene, let us see what your guys, please can give me a card for my mom. I really need it tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, let's see what your mom wants to tell you tonight. Let's see if we can connect in with her. All right, Marlene, what's your mom's name? If you could give it to me. Right. Okay. So your guides are here. Your mom is also here. So they're kind of uh, ganging up, and there's a group of them. Your mum, she comes forward, and I just hear music when she comes forward. So there seems to be a very strong link to music. It's not very loud. It's quite peaceful music, but there's a definite music that comes forward, Lillian. Okay. All right. So I don't know if she sang or if she liked singing or if she liked music, or if you do, but there's this definite connection to music and singing, and that comes forward. And she's kind of really amplifying that. She wants that to be quite supportive to you. It may even be worth listening to music that you've loved, or listening to music that has been coming up lately, because it could be one of the ways that she's giving you a message. The card that's come forward, which is a collaboration of her and your guides, is step into your full power. Step into your full power. And when you have a look at this card, you're going to see this, it could be a woman or a man, but it's a woman in this case. It's saying, standing here dancing with the fire against this beautiful moon or light, or, full light, whatever it is. And then we see this reflection of her light here. And the important part here is dancing. So again, we get this connection with this sort of music that's coming forward and this dancing, like this. Your mom keeps saying it, you need to dance more, like you need to. Now that could be metaphorical, that dancing with life, dancing through this time, dancing with the fire, really starting to embrace movement and flow. And it's almost like she keeps showing me you're quite stagnant, you're quite stuck. It's like there's no movement happening, and really allowing yourself to move. It's when I do a reading at the beginning of every year. I do a reading for a workshop that I run at the beginning of every year called Soul Compass. Really wonderful workshop to be on, because you get messages that set the tone for the year. And then there's an overall message that's for everybody. And there's always a meme that comes up. I'll see if I can find it now again. And the meme this year was, let's dance. Now that was the message from the divine, let's dance. And what that means is that, imagine somebody coming up to you and go, let's dance. The only answer is, okay, and to get up and dance. But if somebody asks you, let's dance, and you say no, and then you sit and watch everybody else dancing and feel like you can't, or you're not, it's because you didn't embrace the invitation. And there's an invitation to dance. And that your mom really wants you to move forward, to move, to dance, to have fun, to liven up. We think about dancing in all the forms that it is. She says, let's dance, let's dance, let's dance. So that's how you're going to find your power, by moving, by dancing. It could be metaphorical, or it could be quite physical. Only you will know which is that for you. All right, Natalie, how are you? Feeling lost and low. All right, let's see. Dance is the hidden language of the soul. So true, so true. It sounds like a Rumi quote, that, hey? I just want to see some. Oh, all right, Zeni, so it makes sense for you. Breathe, my darling, breathe. All right, Natalie, let's see what your guides want to tell you tonight. Natalie, the message is coming forward for you is assert your boundaries. So when I have a look at this, the first thing I want to show is there's a Merkaba there, which is from the suit of cards, that is, there is only love. So when we start to understand there is only love, and then we get the message, assert your boundaries, it really is important that in relationships that we do have a set of boundaries. Boundaries are not rules on what other people need to do. It's a set of comfortable awareness of what I will do if something happens or not happens. It's my instructions to myself. Yeah. And so boundaries is, if you do that, I'm not going to show up. If you do this, I'm not there. And it doesn't have to be a rule that the other person has to face any consequences. It's more about a level of comfort that you can create your own safety, that you can take care of yourself in many ways. And in many relationships, we have people that abuse boundaries. And we allow it to happen because we love them, we care for them, we do all sorts of things. So there's this awareness of you are entitled to have your boundaries, to say yes and to say no, and to know what's okay, what you're okay to say yes to and say no to. If you have a look at this person, they've got their hand on their heart, and there's this energy that's coming up to their throats. And learn to say, this is okay, this is not. I'm happy with that, I'm not happy with this. No? And not become quiet and let people do whatever they want to do with you. And this is a really important part, because boundaries is an act of self-love. It's an act of self-care. Yeah? And it could be boundaries around my physical well-being. It could be boundaries around my emotional well-being. It can even be boundaries around my time. But the ability to say yes and to say no, and to honor when you feel uncomfortable, to honor that it's okay for you to say, no, I'm not comfortable right now. You don't have to place rules on other people, but certainly creating a space for your voice to be heard is really, really, really important. I keep getting quite an energetic sense of disconnect from energy that's flowing into your crown and to your heart. And so that shows me that there's some kind of blockage here, which is so much more than not about thinking about your boundaries or what you're comfortable or uncomfortable with, but speaking it and saying it and learning to speak up around that. Hope that makes sense for you, Natalie. Sending you lots and lots and lots of love. All right, let's see who's next. All right, Karika. I'm in the process of letting go my twin flame, soulmate. All right, it's been a struggle, she says. All right. Pleasure, Natalie. I hope that it makes sense to you, my darling. Karika. All right, Karika. All right, Karika, are you busy doing your reading, my darling? It's not fair when I laugh at the card before I show it to you. It's not very nice of me. Detach from anything holding you back. Detach from anything holding you back. So when we see this card, the first thing that you notice is this beautiful hot air balloon. And if we imagine the hot air balloon and somebody's like got all the air and they've got the fire going and they're doing all these things and it's all ready to go, but it's got these ropes holding it down onto the ground, and it's connected through these ropes to the ground. It can't move, it can't go anywhere until it breaks up with it. Now, the important part with this is that firstly, it's really, I'm going to say this with all the love that I can say, because it's probably a whole show all by itself, is this thing that we do where we say that there's a twin flame or a soulmate. So most of us are busy seeking the one, and then we come up with this idea of the soulmate, and then the sort of inflamed or the enlightened sort of spiritual thing is to find your twin flame. And there are soulmates and there are twin flame contracts, but there are many. Now, when it comes to a twin flame contract, it's a very, very specific contract that is there for spiritual growth. And often the twin flame contract is not about being together. It is about splitting up. And so the idea of soulmates and twin flame may be the very idea you need to detach from, so that you can let go of the idea of this is the one. Because that is the idea that can hold you very much repeating it. And we do this. We may meet someone and we get so seduced with this is the soulmate, this is the one, this is the twin flame, that we put up with behaviors that are not acceptable from ourselves and the other person. So by the way, we contribute to relationships too. And so your own behavior is something that you are not enjoying at this point in time. And so at this point in time, it's not so much about the idea of breaking up and detaching from the person. The only way you're going to detach from the person is by detaching from the idea that this is the one, that this is the person that you're supposed to be together with. Because that story, that one holds the cord in place, and that cord in place gets very hooked into each other. And then you keep repeating the same thing over and over. So you're the one. You're your twin flame. You're your soulmate. You're the one you're seeking in your life. When you can get this, relationships all shift, because it means we can detach from all the sort of invasive cords and contracts that we've created in our own lives. So he's not holding you back. You are, by saying this is the person I'm supposed to be with. Yeah. And so endings are difficult. Breakups are hard. Heartbreak is a difficult thing. But staying with somebody because of a false idea of who we want them to be breaks our own hearts even more than walking away. You need to own the part you're playing in the story of not detaching. It's difficult. They provide a huge amount of comfort and support to that. But the only way for this to shift is to look at how you are hooking, and that's about the story that you are sharing or that you have going on in your mind about this. I hope that makes sense, my darling. Absolutely, you can go and listen to the overall message, because be brave, be brave, be brave, embrace the messiness, and acceptance will set you free. All right, let us see who is next. Christine van Staden. Let us see, Christine. That's exactly right. Acceptance. All right, Christine. Any message for me in my path forward? I'm sure there is a message for you, because you're on the show. If you're on the show, there's a message for you. So pay attention to the messages that come forward. All right. Christine. Mind, body, heart, and spirit integration. Mind, body, heart, and spirit integration. Okay, so your male guide is the one that's stepping forward, and it's the fact that it's your male guide is showing like there's a need for action. So there's a need for some kind of strength at this point in time, and using strength to using strength to integrate is a very interesting thing. So what he means by this is that, you know, when typically when integration comes forward as a message, particularly when the way they show it to me, is it's normally a gentler energy. It's one of opening up and allowing things to happen. But in your case, there's almost like there's a real need for you to take an action that means that your physical world catches up to the emotional decisions you've made and the mental and spiritual awarenesses you've had. So it's almost like your mind has made up something. From a spiritual perspective, you know what needs to be done. Yeah. From an emotional perspective, you feel like you're ready, but you are not taking the hard action. You're not doing the thing that needs to be done that's actually going to shift it. And this is where the rubber hits the road, so to speak, is that what's the, and again, they go back to the reading of the night, be brave, embrace the messiness, and acceptance will set you free. But the be brave in this case is like, in order to truly, truly integrate, there's action that needs to be taken. So let me see if I can give an example of the way they're showing it. I had somebody who came for a few readings about the fact that they were battling financially. And from a financial perspective, there was a great awareness of something needed to shift. On an emotional level, we had dealt with the deservability things that come up. Now, deservability is not a thing for the divine, it's an emotional aspect. So the willingness to receive and allow and to do all those things were dealt with emotionally. On a mental level, there was an awareness of the self-sabotaging techniques that were going on. And on a spiritual level, understanding truly the laws of abundance and how this works. But on a physical level, what was happening was that there was a secret she had from her husband about their financial situation. And she was keeping it secret to protect him and also in many ways to protect herself. And so the action that was needed was to let him know, was to come clean, so to speak. And that physical action, which is hard, was the thing was needed so that the whole system could come forward and move forward and start to create the abundance that was necessary. Now, I'm not sure in your situation if it is about financial, but it is about on the physical, what's the brave act that needs to happen, that if you did it, you would be able to start flowing, you would be able to start moving into it, you would be able to start, because remember, integration means all the parts of us come together, and when we're all together, we can move. But if one part of me is here, 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 we just stagnate and we get stuck. And so to unstuck yourself, there's something on the physical that needs to be faced, an action that needs to be taken. Right, I hope that that makes sense for you, my darling. Right, let's see. Tess, Mansfield, how are you doing? Really would love a message. And there you are again. Really would love a message. All right, Tess. Let's see what your guides would like to tell you tonight, love. All right, Tess, the card that's come up is Speak Your Truth. Speak your truth. Let me see how you guys want me to talk about this. Oh, I'm glad, Christine. Tess, the way your female guide's coming forward is she shows me two stories going on continuously whenever something's coming up in your life. There's like an inner story and an outer story. So the things that you say to the outside world and the things that you're saying to yourself are not aligned. Now, this could simply be something as simple as I'm fine or when I'm not. So the story inside is I'm scared, I'm tired, I'm hurt, I'm lost, I'm insecure, I'm fine. And so just that very simple awareness of what's coming out, what I'm projecting out to the outside world, and what my inner dialogue is, what my inside voice is saying is different. Essentially, this disconnect is something many of us experience. We experience a different internal story to an external reality. And so when we can align this, which doesn't mean saying it to everybody, but does say saying it to somebody, and to the appropriate, even if it is just about honoring what the inside voice is telling you. Because sometimes we believe our own nonsense, we believe our own story to the external world. I had somebody who came to me for a reading, and they're showing this as an example to give you, and she sat down and she kept saying, I love my job, but 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 I love my job, but. And eventually the guy said to her, you're lying, you don't love your job. Why do you keep saying something you don't agree with, something you don't believe? And what was interesting about this, and it is interesting because it's true for many of us, she didn't even know that she didn't like her job because she wasn't listening to herself. She wasn't paying attention to the internal story and then allowing that to come forward. And the reason not because it was too scary. Yeah. So learning to at least honor your internal story is at least a starting point, even if it's not expressing it, but it is listening to it. And we can do this by journaling often. Journaling is one of the techniques to listen to the inside story, to the voice that's going on inside of you, and at least honor what it is that it wants to tell you at this point in time. So there you go. I hope that that makes sense for you, my darling. Right, let's see. Heather Cavill. Good, I'm glad it makes sense, Jade, my darling. And Tess says also it makes so much sense. Perfect, I'm glad, my loves. All right, so I really appreciate you too. Okay, let us see, Heather, what your guides want to tell you. Okay, Heather, the message is coming forward for you is there is only love. There is only love. Okay, Heather, when I connect in with your energy, I'm not sure what's going on, but I just get this overwhelming sadness. Maybe a better word is despondency. Quite despondent. Just this profound heaviness in my heart, this profound heaviness in my chest, this sadness or despondency that comes forward. And your guides come forward and they almost just want to shower you with the awareness of how loved you are. Okay, allowing yourself to receive the love and support that surrounds you, not only on a physical, but on a spiritual and an emotional level. So I'm not sure what is going on for you, or if this is a persistent sadness, something that has been there for a long time, could even be a lifetime. But your guides come forward and like, I'm not sure if this metaphor is going to make sense, but I can only show it as that when I was a little girl, I used to watch a show called the Care Bears. And the Care Bears would all, they would go on these missions to help people on Earth. And they lived up in the clouds, and then they all come together and they'd like line up and they'd do this thing called the Care Bear stare. And at that point, their sort of chests or stomachs would light up and they'd create this rainbow of light and would pump it into the person so that they could feel more supported and more alive and more loved. And that's the way they're showing me what they're doing with you is like they're lining up and they're just pouring in this love, just pouring it in. It's like this rainbow energy of love that's being given to you. So whatever is going on for you at this point in time, or even if this was not something that's within your awareness, please know that you are so loved, and that they want, that's what they want me to tell you. You just there's just only love for you. So I hope that that makes sense to you. All right. Right, let's see. Janine Lewis Michaels. Let's see what your guides would like to tell you tonight. Let's see what they have. Swan, oh, I remember that. I love the Care Bears as a little girl. I'm a Care Bear. You're not the first person, Swan, to say that to me. I used to get offended by it. I don't anymore. All right. Janine, the card is the card that came up the week. So this is your card. So if you have not listened to the overall message for the week, you can go back and listen to it as soon as we're finished. The card that's coming forward for you, be brave. It feels to me like you're really at a point of transition, like you've almost made decisions. There's decisions you have made and you now need to just act on them. So try not doubt as much as you can. The doubt is natural and normal, but as much as you can eliminate the doubt, any decision is better than no decision. And so it feels to me like you have got clearer and you have made a decision. And now it's simply a matter of, and if you go and listen to the starting points of the reading, of taking the step of doing what needs to be done and letting things unfold as we need to let them unfold. So they're saying that's the message for you tonight. Yeah? All right, let's see who's here. Cheryl, rock by a transition of a very long-term person. There are less who know me as they leave message. I'm not sure I'm understanding what you're saying, Cheryl. You feel very scattered. You don't normally feel scattered when I connect with you. Speaking my continuing way forward. Why would it change? Why would it change, Cheryl? All right, let's see what I want to tell you, Cheryl. Rock by transition a very long time. Oh, dear friend died. Oh, okay, all right. So that's why I'm feeling like the foundation's been like swept out from under you. Okay. I'm so sorry for your loss, my love. So sorry. It always is a difficult thing. The card that's come forward for you, though, is let joy be your guide. This friend of yours loved to laugh with you. They come forward and there's like this great celebration of life. Like there's this party going on. Like every part of the energy that they bring forward is like a celebration. There's like champagne and music and like a party. They bring forward a party. They want life to be enjoyed. So clearly there's a place of transition and sadness, but they really want their life to be celebrated. All the laughter and the connection and just like thinking back on all the fun, like so much fun. So much good times, and they need to continue, and the more you can continue on your path of doing that which brings you fun and joy and laughter, the more you honor them. They're sorry that they gave you such a shock. But they say, let's party. Yeah, let's have some fun. They've crossed and they are stable and they are still and they like really, I promise you, like I don't know what the champagne thing is. Oh, it was today. Okay, so they have crossed. And they're sorry it was such a shock. Oh, I'm sorry. I can feel the overwhelming pain. But they say thank you for the fun. Thank you for the fun. Please have more fun. Celebrate their life. All right. Sending you a big hug. Big, 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 big hug. I know my best friend died. One of my best friends, so I know what it's like. All right, so all right, Anna Marie Anderson. Let us see what your guides want to tell you tonight. All right, so everything is just so dear, Makar, in my life. Health, family matters, really need a message or guidance to understand all of this. Please, 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 please. All right, pleasure, Cheryl. Sending you so much love, darling. Cheryl, Anna Marie, the message that comes forward for you is everything that happens is an opportunity for your growth. Not really what I'm sure you want to hear. But dear Makar is, there's a Rumi quote that says, when everything's falling apart, maybe it's falling into place. And that's kind of the way they're talking about it, is that you've been asking for something to change. You've been asking for things to move, for change to happen, almost like, enough is enough kind of thing. And so there is transformation that's going on. And really listen to the message. And I'm sorry to say this again and again and again, but they keep coming to it, to be brave and to embrace the messiness of life, and to, acceptance will set you free. These three messages are key to what's going on at this point in time. Please know you are not being punished. There's nothing that's been done wrong. There's nothing that is a sort of sign of you doing it wrong. If anything, this is a little bit of like a sort of shaking up the foundations, or letting the foundations of your life being shaken up so that things can change, because there's been a stagnation that has not been useful for you. You've been asking for, like it's almost like you've been doing all the internal work to shift and to grow and to heal, but the outside world has to catch up now and has to change too. And so allowing things to shake up, it doesn't have to break up, it just needs to shake up. And so see what the shake-up offers you. And to journal into this can often be called the dark night of the soul, but it's journaling into what is the opportunities in this, what is the gift in this, what am I learning, how am I growing, what's coming up. And we see the lotus flower here, which is, the lotus flower is always pushing through that, pushing through the mud to come to the surface, to be able to blossom, and it's following that light. So get the support, get the help you need where there is shake-up. But I do keep getting this message, shake-up doesn't mean break-up. And so to notice that that's what they are telling you. All right, Linda, let's see what your guides want to tell you. Lots of sad faces, Linda. What's all these sad faces, my love? All right, so messages are all similar now. Some guidance, please, Taryn. Your power lies in your vulnerability. Your power lies in your vulnerability. This is a message that not many people like to hear. We often think of vulnerability as weakness, but when we see vulnerability as like stepping into the unknown, and that's where we find our power. So when things are different, when things are new, when things aren't working the way that we want them to work, that's when we actually find a new part of ourselves. We find a way to actually navigate it. And when things, again, it's very similar to the message, is when things fall apart, you don't fall apart, even though it feels like it. Things shift and change, and you learn to find a new part of you. Please make sure you get the help and the support and the guidance and the insights you need. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. But there is power that's surging. It's like breaking out of the seed shell. If we think of planting a seed, there's that hard shell in the seed, and that breaks open. And when that breaks open, this tiny little seed can start to push its way to the light. And that's powerful. It's very powerful, but it's not very easy. Yeah? So embrace that. Okay, so that brings us to the end of tonight. Sending you all so much love. There is a lot going on. Flow, yes, and acceptance will set you free. It'll be the way that you can move forward. Sending you all so much love. And I will see you next week. Namaste.